Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another edition of Jaiza. A very, very important edition for us. A very esteemed guest on our program today, the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto. Assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam.
It's a great pleasure to have you on our program today. I'm going to start off with some personal questions for you. First, you've been through so much, so many losses in your life, and I want to ask you personally, if you had to do it all over again, would you be in the same field that you are in today?
People don't have the luxury in life of knowing what's going to happen, but I took a decision and I've lived with that decision. And I suppose if I had to take this decision all over again, I would take it again. I took this decision on the last day of my father's life, when I decided that I would continue his work for a democratic Pakistan. And since that day, I've never looked back and I've never wavered.
I am going to again talk about something personal. When you came to power, I was going to college in the United States, and there were a lot of Pakistanis who were ecstatic about somebody of your caliber coming to power, somebody who is educated in the West at the top universities, Harvard, and you were going to lead the charge. You were the first or one of the foremost prime ministers, a woman prime minister of a Muslim state. And there was a lot of excitement. And a lot of people, including myself personally, felt that, in a few years, all the euphoria dissipated. And I visited Pakistan after actually a very long time in 1989. And there were massive charges of corruption. And the beautiful city of Karachi, the way that at least I knew it growing up, wasn't the same. There was, rampant shooting, looting, and corruption was very rampant. If I were to ask you, how do you respond to people like myself? I would say that a lot of Pakistani Americans as well as Pakistanis are in that same category. What would you say to them?
Well, I would say that I was also very euphoric when the Pakistan People's Party and I were elected to office. We had a manifesto, we had programs. We were so excited about being able to change the destiny of our people, about building peace in the region and modernizing the country. And we started work on that, but we never appreciated how entrenched the military establishment was, or how critical Pakistan had become in the region because of the support to the Afghan Mujahideen. And we never expected to be destabilized in the way we were. We thought power has really shifted from the military to the people, but it was not so. And with the passage of time, with the repeated rigging of the elections, with the deliberate destabilization of the governments, even when they were governments, much of the euphoria dissipated. Perhaps it dissipated for other reasons with young people like yourself. You mentioned corruption, and you mentioned the lawlessness in Karachi. But I may add that Transparency International has just come out and said that corruption is worse under the military dictatorship than it has ever been under a democratic government. And secondly, the lawlessness in Karachi was there from the time of Prime Minister Junejo, and finally culminated in the time of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in an army operation which the PPP stopped, and PPP restored law and order. And I believe if we had the time of our full mandate, things would have been much better. But it was not so. And therefore I say to young people of your generation that I hope you do a better job than my generation did, because leadership must pass to your hands. And I hope that you learn from our experiences to translate it into a better society for our people.
We've seen our leaders, shift blame. If I look at the current government or any of the Nawaz Sharif governments, it seems like they never did anything wrong. And in some ways, what I hear you saying is somewhat of the same, that, these were the circumstances, this is what happened. But what I'd like for you to tell us is there any sort of acceptance of some mistakes that were made? And if so, what were they? And what would you change if you were given another chance?
You see, I feel that history must judge each era and each leader. I remember when my father was assassinated in 1979, how the press used to be writing negative stories about him. And yet now, nearly a quarter of a century after his execution, people who were his foes even pay tribute to him. So I think it's important for us to leave such judgments to history. But I know one thing, that we changed the dynamics for Pakistan and we changed the dynamics for South Asia and for the Muslim world. When I became Prime Minister, women could never aspire to leadership positions. But after that, several Muslim countries have had women leaders. And even in Saudi Arabia recently, women's rights have improved from what they were. Secondly, when I became Prime Minister, we began the process of the information revolution by lifting the ban on fax machines, bringing satellite dishes, digital pagers, mobile telephones. We deregulated the economy. We allowed the banks to give easy credit. We brought in investment banks. And we did this deregulation to open up the markets and to open up opportunities. And after we did it, South Asia followed. And after that, the Middle East followed. These were all public sector dominated economies. But the transformation came because of the PPP victory in 1988. Let's take another issue. Let's take our relationships with India. When we tried to improve relations with India in 1989, I was called a security risk. But so far-reaching was the PPP dynamics that those who criticized us then invited Prime Minister Vajpayee for bus diplomacy to Lahore. And the military regime now headed by General Musharraf, which was behind the Kargil incident, is also talking about peace. So I feel that the initiatives that we took, while severely criticized at the time that we undertook them, are actually bearing fruit. The very process of democratization that we spoke about. We see the young leaders in the Middle East now, like King Abdullah of Jordan, King of Morocco, King of Qatar. These young leaders are also now trying to open up their societies and democratize. So what PPP actually did, in terms of democratization, in terms of the information revolution, in terms of undoing the domination of the public sector and opening up the markets and opening up the opportunities, is being adopted far and wide, not just in Pakistan by its own critics, but across the Muslim world. So I think it's too soon. You open up the markets and there are lots of people who are competing for the same contract. Lots of people. And they're easy to listen to any kind of a rumor or any kind of a whisper. But the fact of the matter is that nobody has been scrutinized as much as the PPP or I. And after all that scrutiny, not a single contract has come up which was not given in accordance to the rules of government. But if you look at the steel mills case, the Supreme Court has said that the rules of government were violated, but nobody has taken any action to date. So I say, yes, we were humans. We made mistakes. We must have made mistakes. And certainly we made mistakes. My first term, we were very inexperienced. Young people came into politics who had never been in politics before. But we were sincere in our intent, sincere in our purpose. And we must be compared not to an ideal vision, but we must be compared to others who have governed in Pakistan.